It's the D Trailways fifth quarter.
Yes, this is. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday to you. Welcome to another edition of the fifth quarter, the most watched and longest running high school sports show in mid-Michigan. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fred HEUMANN, always have been. I remember in mid-August when we were in week one of the prep football season, I said, blink your eyes, it'll be Thanksgiving. Well, it's not Turkey Day yet, but it's time to buy a turkey, and I barely blinked. Man, does the season fly by. Regional championship games in prep football, 3 local teams in action tonight, 4 more tomorrow. Spartan basketball, home at Breslin tonight. Highlights forthcoming. Regional championships, though, and let's get right to it. Kevin GEHL was at one of our games involving 2 of the local teams squaring off. Kevin fought his way through the huge crowd and joins us now. Hi, Kevin.
Good evening, Fred. We all know the story of Cinderella, the unexpected belle of the ball who lives happily ever after. Well, that's exactly how Eaton Rapids felt after taking home its first ever district football title with an upset win at Tecumseh last Friday. The magic carriage ride continues for Eaton Rapids. Huge crowd on the road at DeWitt for the regional final, but Mike Smith and his Cinderella team run into the prom queen. She's not giving up her title. First DeWitt possession, Jake Johnson to Chris Ruby. Just like that, 7-0 Panthers. Plenty of heart on this Greyhound team, but they just can't match the size of DeWitt's offensive line. Ben Heinrichs getting whatever he wants on the ground. That long run sets up his own score moments later, 14-0 DeWitt. Eaton Rapids can't get anything going on offense against this talented DeWitt defense either. Zachary Deek among many other Panthers on that stop. Then moments later, DeWitt back on offense and Johnson back to the air. He completes 11 of 16 throws and 3 scores, all to that guy, Chris Ruby. Eaton Rapids does make a nice stop on 4th down. Cole Bailey blows up the play in the backfield. Nice tackle there, but that's about all for the Greyhounds in this one. They never give up, but they just can't stop Heinrichs. 183 yards and 3 trips to the house. Heartbreak for the Greyhounds, but hold your heads high, Eaton Rapids. A season for the ages, but it's DeWitt remaining the class of the area in Division III. 49-0 victory. The Panthers remain undefeated and take home the regional title. Next up, a date with St. Clair in the state semis, and the Panthers just continue getting better.
Our seniors were not real happy with how we played the last couple weeks, and we were good enough to win, but we didn't play complete games, and so that was our thing all week. We said we got to finish, and we had a great week of practice, and we definitely did finish tonight. It was a great win for us heading into the semifinals.
What made this offense click so well in this game?
It's our man up front. We got a couple big boys up there, and they get that push up front, and we do what we do.
I know you're disappointed tonight, but what does it feel like, and what do you tell these guys about being a team that'll never be forgotten in the town of Eaton Rapids?
I can't tell them anything tonight that's going to make them feel better. But the thing is, after this weekend, they can reflect on, there's a lot of great things that happened to us this year.
What a win for Eaton Rapids, and good luck to DeWitt trying to move on. What a win for DeWitt, and what a season for Eaton Rapids. That's why the salute, Kevin. But thanks for the correction. Lansing Sexton, the other local team playing tonight, and like DeWitt, the Big Reds entered the regional final perfect at 11-0, but the opponent tonight came in with that identical record, setting up the showdown at Ed Majeski Stadium, and we had the fifth quarter bust there, and it was a defensive battle in the first quarter until the second. Watch Malik Mack here. He pitches the ball back to Avante Bell. The O-line creating a nice gap for Bell. You bet he takes it. 13 yards for the touchdown. Big Reds playing without Javon Ray, who was injured last week, on the board first. Sexton found more offense here. 2 minutes later, Mack hands off to Bell, decides to play quarterback. Catch with Javon Cooney. 30-yard touchdown. Sexton 14-0. Now to the 4th. Swan Valley's Alex Grace on the run. He slips right into the end zone. First score of the night for Swan Valley, but the Big Reds had a response. 3 minutes later, our cameras got a little fooled. Mack launches one upfield. No, I didn't shoot this one, Kevin. It lands right in the hands of Rod Lewis. What a catch. Big Reds 20-7. Dan Bogan loving that, but these Vikings from Swan Valley are relentless. Call the hands off to Grace. Breaks right through the Big Reds. He's not going to be stopped. 80 yards for the touchdown. Just like that, Swan Valley takes its first lead, 21-20. The Big Reds say, not in our house. Mack, 2 minutes left in the game. He will look and find Cooney. That's a touchdown. There he is. The Big Reds survive, 26-21. Capture the Division IV regional title, and oh yeah, they're 12-0 too. A very happy and emotional Dan Bogan, congratulated by that woman closest to him.
Awesome. That is awesome. Yes. Our whole goal was to win this thing and definitely win our games at home all year. And the kids, they played their hearts out. I'm just so proud of our kids never giving up and staying in the fight. And I just can't say enough about what type of championship effort they played with tonight against a really good football team.
It just feels great. It feels great to be 12-0. You know, we put in so much work in the offseason, running the Waverly Hill, running it 14 times, because we got one goal, and that's to be the state champion.
Good for them, and good luck to Dan Bogan's wife. She's been recovering and on the mend now, and nice to see her smiling. She's going to be okay. We have 4 other Mid-Michigan teams playing tomorrow in regional finals at various sites. We will preview those games a bit later. But first, we come back, a scary night at the Breslin Center for the Spartans in basketball. Not only was Gary Harris injured early in the game, but the Spartans were on the ropes all night against Columbia. 1 win away from being number 1. Tell me it isn't so. We'll tell you if they survived up next on the 5th quarter. All right, the win over Kentucky the other night in Chicago had everyone all fired up about the Spartans being number 1 if they could only win a home game tonight against Columbia. Yes, Columbia. Let's go to the highlights tonight from the Breslin Center. Tom Izzo knew his team might have a letdown coming off that big win. No letdown out of the gate. Scored the first 7 points of the game. There's Adrian Payne at the slam. I'm going to spare you the rest of the first half highlights. Just take a look at Tom Izzo's face. Doesn't that tell you everything? Second half, now down 7. MSU on the run. Keith Appling to a flying Brandon Dawson for the alley-oop dunk 5-point game. Then Mado Lowe, who hit 4 3-pointers, buried another one. And look, it's a 7-point lead. Gary Harris, injured earlier in the game, came back for the Spartans in the second half. Strong move to the hoop here. Tie game. Untied and 1 for Harris. Boy, do they need him. Then later, the Spartans with the crowd starting to get into it. Appling inside to Payne for the slam. How about that? It's a 4-point lead. They can celebrate and finally relax. Michigan State wins it 62-53. Wow, was that close, Kevin?
Fred, it hasn't always been pretty, but Spartan football is in perfect position to reach the Big Ten championship game. MSU can clinch at least a share of the Legends Division title with a win in the Red Sea at Nebraska tomorrow afternoon. It's a tough test to be sure, but Mark D'Antonio actually loves Husker hospitality.
Invite you in. They invite you into the Lion's Den. There's no question. Come on in. There's plenty of room. They're good winners.
Right, but when you talk about
they're kind winners.
Okay, so D'Antonio seems oddly excited about this trip to Lincoln, but this week he admitted the Spartans did not respond well to the pressure during their 24-3 loss to Nebraska 2 years ago. Last year, Spartans had the Huskers right where they wanted them, but Nebraska pulled off a game-winning drive in Spartan Stadium in the final seconds to steal a 28-24 victory. Tomorrow, it's back to Lincoln, and with so much at stake, revenge is only a small part of the puzzle.
The whole team would just know what all our goals are sitting in front of us and know that Nebraska is the main team we got to focus on right now. It's a great challenge for me, just knowing I can be able to make plays this weekend, and hopefully I can get a pick 6 like I did last year to make up for the last game. And I'm just ready to go.
Our first Big Ten game was just as important as this game. So we just go into every single week, going 1-0. We want to go 1-0, and that's our goal. We obviously know it's a big game. Last week was a big game against Michigan. We know it's a big game. The coaches know. We know. I think as long as we just go into the game, with the mindset, we got to go 1-0.
We're chasing greatness right now, and we have a great opportunity in front of us, and just don't look too far ahead, because that's what a lot of teams do, slipping or messing up. So my message to the team is just taking one game at a time like we've just been doing.
Meanwhile, Michigan is slipping down the Legends Division, and the Wolverines are a 3-point underdog at Northwestern tomorrow, despite the fact the Wildcats don't have a single Big Ten win all season. Yikes. Speaking of Northwestern, the Wildcats in the Big Ten soccer semifinals this afternoon, but Michigan State is the reason we're tuning in. And check this out, Fred. It's a laser from Fatai Alashe. Fred's favorite name to say when he can actually say it. MSU takes a 1-0 lead. Northwestern controlling the second half. Plenty of chances to score. This one nearly goes in off a header. Northwestern coach Tim Lenahan praying for a goal, but he doesn't get it. Spartans advance to the Big Ten championship game against Indiana on Sunday after this 1-0 victory, Fred.
Glad you did that one, Kevin. At 6, I called him Foodie Lucy or something like that. We'll come back and revisit high school football, preview some games going on tomorrow of our local teams. That's up next. Stay with us.
Welcome back. We already checked in on 3 local high school football teams that played tonight. DeWitt topped Eaton Rapids and Sexton beat Saginaw Swan Valley. But that's only the beginning. We have 4 more local teams in playoff action beginning tomorrow. In Division 5, 10-1 Olivet will host Grand Rapids West Catholic at 1 o'clock. Now, West Catholic knocked Lansing Catholic out of the playoffs last Friday night, and the visiting Falcons are known for their late-season playoff runs. The Eagles and Falcons very familiar with each other. Both teams battled it out in 2010 for the state title. West Catholic walked away as state champions. Many of the current Eagle players were raw underclassmen back then, but you can believe that they'll be ready and they'll remember that loss.
Our seniors this year were freshmen that year that we were at Ford Field. They remember that game, and they remember West Catholic. It's a whole different challenge for us. We know the level that they play at in their program. They're consistently, a state final team, and we want to play at that level.
Mentally, does facing a team like that, considering the background that you guys have with them, does that make your players a little bit more excited?
They're excited for the challenge. Yep, they're looking forward to playing a team that's not going to just try to jam it down your throats every play. Our kids are more traditionally kids who like to run and catch, and our secondary players have not seen a lot of action this year, so they're excited for this game.
When we played them the last time, they had a great quarterback, but we also threw well against them, so we're hoping that we can do the same thing. We'll know a lot by halftime whether or not we can play with them, and so it's kind of a discovery process. But we have a very good football team, and our kids will not be intimidated, and I think they'll do well.
All right, Olivet plays in Division 5, while in Division 6, a team that could beat a lot of teams in every division looks for a regional title. The Ithaca Yellow Jackets, 11-0, and they face 10-1 Negaunee tomorrow afternoon. Ithaca has only lost 2 games in 5 years, 53 in a row, now 1 short of the national record because Regina High School of Iowa won tonight to make it 54. The Yellow Jackets can retie the streak tomorrow with a win, and what a playoff-tested team.
How excited do you get for this time of year?
Very excited. You can see I'm a pretty emotional coach, and as you watch practice here and stuff, and it's just a fun time, because everything's ramped up a little bit and everybody's a little more tense. The playoff season, it's a special time of the year, and everybody here in Ithaca is excited to be in the playoffs again, and hopefully we can make a run.
All right, in Division 7, our local entry is Pewamo, Westphalia. The Pirates 10-1 head to Harbor Beach tomorrow for a battle with 10-1 Harbor Beach. PW coming off an electrifying district championship win over Carson City Crystal, but the Pirates are exactly where they expected to be.
We have 14 seniors this year. It's one of our largest classes, so it's always a good time when you got 14 guys to go celebrate with and the rest of your teammates too.
Honestly, we expected to be here. These kids they've played hard all season long, got in the weight room and lifted, and I'm just kind of along for the ride.
Now you got to buy in. Now we got a state championship on our minds.
Winding down. Oh, I'm back. We all know, we also want to wish good luck to Homer in Division 7. With football season winding down, it's almost time to take the party indoors. High school basketball is just around the corner, and we were there as a local powerhouse tipped off practice earlier this week. East Lansing enters the new season with 73 straight wins in the CAAC, but it's a tough road ahead. Head coach Rob Smith needs to fill 8 spots left behind by departing seniors. He'll lean heavily on 4-year point guard Michi Thompson, and with the level of local talent rising, Smith knows the winning streak will be tough to keep alive this season.
It is difficult to have a target on your back all the time, but with the parity in this area in terms of women's basketball, I mean, it's, Hazlitt, Grand Ledge, DeWitt every year, Portland, Okemos, Waverly, just to name a few. There's just a ton of good teams that are constantly, trying to knock you off. So it's a constant challenge to try to play at such a high level year in and year out, but that's why we do it. That's the fun part.
Red Wings lose again. MSU volleyball loses again. Say goodnight, Kevin.
Good night.
Walk the fashion runway with a camel. Or not. New race CBS Sunday.